Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Legion Talk episode number 98. Now, what we're going to be taking a look at is the U.S. and China enters dangerous territory over Taiwan. That's right, of course, China is looking to expand itself as communism usually does. Before we get into that, please click the like and subscribe button down below on this channel. Subscribe to my main channel, Legion Games 2076. Subscribe to this channel, and if you feel the need to take that further, you can find my Patreon and Subscribe Star. Anything helps, but if you can't, I understand that too. Thank you just for watching. Now, as the world is going to start eyeballing this closer, from the New York Times, yes, the U.S. and China are going to start being interested allies over Taiwan. The 25 Chinese fighter jets, bombers, and other warplanes flew in menacing formations off the southern end of Taiwan, a show of military might on China's National Day, October 1st. The incursions, dozens upon dozens, continued into the night, and delays that followed and surged to the highest numbers over Monday, when 56 warplanes tested Taiwan's beleaguered air defenses. Now, look, Taiwan is its own country, and it deserves to stay that way. And unfortunately, the CCP has a really bad history of trying to wage war on Taiwan. It's supposed to be an independent country alone itself, but it is finding it harder and harder in history to stay that way. And China is no threat. That is the modern day, USSR. China is. China's a bad place, and I think the UN needs to address them, and the United States need to address them as such, because they are a grave threat. Taiwan's jets scrambled to keep up while the United States warned China that its provocative military activity undermined regional peace and stability. China did not cower. Of course they didn't. Because when Joe Biden took office, China realized that they had a lemming in the Oval Office. I'm sorry. I don't care what you think about the former president. He would not have put up with this nonsense. And some of you have been like, well, then, he would have caused World War III. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. He had been to China during his presidency. He had been to China and talked with them over there. But I think now that Joe Biden is weak and he is incompetent, it's easy to say that China's going to do what it wants, because it knows that the United States rattling its saber is nothing more than that. When a Taiwanese combat air traffic controller radioed one Chinese aircraft, the pilot dismissed the challenge with an obscenity involving the officer's mother. Oh, lovely. As such confrontation intensifies, the balance of power around Taiwan is fundamentally shifting, pushing a decades-long impasse over its future into a dangerous new phase. I don't care. After holding out against unification demands from China's communist rulers for more than 70 years, Taiwan is now at the heart of the deepening discord between China and the United States. The island's fate has the potential to reshape the region order, and even to ignite a military conflagration. I'd say confrontation. I don't, intentional or not. There's very little insulation left on the wiring in the relationship. Danny Russell, a former Assistant Secretary of State, said, and it's not hard to imagine getting some crossed wires and that starting a fire. Yeah, I would say so. This isn't good. Obviously, World War II started by Nazi Germany invading invading one of the closest countries in Poland, and that's what kicked off World War II. So China may not have an issue trying to kick off World War III. Who knows? China thinks that they got the goods. Xi Jinping is not a good guy. He's you thought Trump was bad. You ought to take a look at that guy's record. For the China's military might has, for the first time, made a conquest of Taiwan conceivable, perhaps even tempting. The United States wants to thwart any invasion, but has watched its military dominance in Asia steadily erode. Taiwan's own military preparedness has withered, even as its people become increasingly resistant to unification. All three have sought to show resolve in hopes of avoiding war, only to provoke countermoves that compound, destruct, and increase the risk of miscalculation. He's an ass. At one particularly tense moment in October 2020, American intelligence reports detailed how a Chinese leader had become worried that President Trump was preparing an attack. They feared Trump. You understand that, right? Joe Biden, they could give a crap less about. Dude fights the teleprompter. He doesn't fight. He doesn't try to fight off other world leaders. Sorry, this man is more sound than Joe Biden is. That's dangerous. Those concerns, which could have been misread, prompted General Mark A. Miley, a traitor to this country, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, to call his counterpart in Beijing to assure otherwise. That's traitorous right there. That is literally, you are literally communicating with a foreign opposition against the wishes of your post in the United States government. That is treason. As in, strip him of his title, throw him away in jail forever. Or we could do it the old-fashioned way, and we could line him up on a firing squad. Yeah, that's still technically in the realm of possibility for treason. I mean, it's not legitimately going to happen, but still. The Taiwan issue has increased to be sort of narrow boutique issue and has become a central theater, if not the central drama, in U.S.-China strategic competition, said Evan Medeiros, who served on President Obama's National Security Council. I wouldn't take that as a big compliment, dude, considering Obama's foreign relations were terrible. China's ambitious leader, Xi Jinping, now presides over what is arguably the country's most potent military in history. Some argue that Mr. Xi Jinping has set the stage to rule for a third term starting in 2022, could feel compelled to conquer Taiwan to crown his era in power. I wouldn't be surprised. He's an ass. Mr. Xi said Saturday in Beijing that Taiwan independence was a grave lurking threat to national rejuvenation. China wanted peaceful unification, he said, but added, nobody should underestimate the staunch determination, firm will, and power, full ability of the Chinese people to defend national sovereignty and territorial integrity. Taiwan is its own country, and it needs to stay that way. China needs to back the frick off. Few believe a war is imminent or foreordained, in part because of the economic and diplomatic aftershocks that would be staggering for China. Yet even if the recent flights into Taiwan's self-declared air identification zone are intended to merely use political pressure, not a prelude to war, China's financial, political, and military ascendancy has made preserving the island's security a gravely complex endeavor. Until recently, the United States believed it could hold Chinese territorial ambitions in check, but the military superiority it long held may not be enough. When the Pentagon organized a war game in October 2020, an American blue team struggled against new Chinese weaponry in a simulated battle over Taiwan. That's not good. China now acts with increasing confidence, in part because many officials, including Mr. Xi, told the View that American power has faltered. Yeah, Joe Biden. The United States' failures with the COVID-19 pandemic and its political upheavals have reinforced such views. Well, I mean, if the virus wasn't leaked from a lab in China and thrust upon the world, you know that the virus was raging and businesses in Australia were faltering. That China went ahead and bought up a whole bunch of stock in those. So now China owns a piece of Australia. Pretty good sized piece of Australia, too. That's not good. China's buying the world up. What do you think that means? What do you think that means? Would the United States court death for Taiwan? Teng Jiaquan, a former Chinese Navy captain, said in a recent interview on Chinese television. Goodness. Such posturing in turn ignites more tensions. In Taiwan, Chinese military provocations have bolstered political support for the island's president, Tsai Ing-wen, who has sought to forge ties with countries increasingly wary of China. The Biden administration is trying to bolster Taiwan's defense capabilities and international standing, hoping to delay or prevent the need for American military intervention. The point of the fact is, I'm not going to read this whole entire article because it's long as heck. This isn't good. It's a really long article, isn't it? This is not good. China is being aggressive on the financial and on the physical stage. China wants to. What does communism want? It wants everything. It wants to expand and infect. Kind of like socialism. And socialism is a great, example is the National Socialist, the National Socialists, also known as the Nazis. Yeah, they were kind of going for world domination. If you want a good example of what were to happen if the Nazis and the Japanese were to have won World War II, watch The Man in the High Tower, the High Castle, the Man in the High Castle. I think it's The Man in the High Castle. Yeah, great movie. Great movie. Television show. Great television show. The point of the fact is, ladies and gentlemen, this is not good. It's not good at all. Just know that. And while sleepy Joe Biden sits there and takes his eats his ice cream and then takes his afternoon nap, China is plotting to basically. China wants to own the world. It's darn sure on its way too. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon. See ya.